Chief of Defense Staff mentioned governance. And in that regard, I would like us to look at the root causes, the drivers of insecurity that are essentially driven by bad governance. Time will not allow me to go into all of them, but the one I would narrow down on is addressing the grievances that exist in Nigeria at the moment. Those grievances are they festered to a point where it's very easy for anyone who wants to cause whatever. It could be insurgency, it could be terrorism, it could be criminality, to recruit from those that are aggrieved. And so the mechanisms that we have in place for addressing those grievances, we need to look into them. And in that regard, the role of the legislature is critical. The legislature is probably the closest arm of government to the people. And if they open up their doors, and in fact, function in the manner that they are supposed to function, then they would go a long way. The second one is the role of the governors. They are also extremely close to the people. They, more than the federal government, they can address those root causes effectively. Second point I would like to hammer on is access to justice. There is no part of the country that, we have operations in 36 states of the Federation, 774 local governments. And when you see the complaints coming up from citizens regarding justice, you know that if we're going to move forward, then that is one area that we need to move ahead with quickly. And I'm very delighted that this current administration, not too long ago, about 2 months ago, a summit was held by the Minister of Justice and several other persons within that arm of government, the judiciary, to move forward with regards to the challenges on access to justice. So I'm hoping that we'll see traction in that regard. The third point I would like to emphasize is accountability, both operational accountability and then financial accountability. There is no sector at the moment where money is being spent like the security sector. In fact, just a few days ago, I added the provision for health and education in our budget, and security is more than those two critical sectors. Now, that is at the federal level. If you go to the state level, they also spend on security. Now, what mechanism do we have in place for monitoring that spending so that we make sure that spending is actually going towards reducing the security challenges we have? And to that extent, I'm very delighted we have a member of the House of Rep seated there with us. The oversight function that the House of Rep and the Senate can play in terms of monitoring that spending is crucial and important in improving security within the country. So to that extent, I think separation of powers, and I'm sure Samson Itudu could probably speak better in that regard than me, separation of powers, especially in this area of security, where we see better oversight by our legislators on the security sector players, would probably help us in improving security. And then in conclusion, there are provisions within our constitution that I don't see us complying with at the moment. As an example, we have several councils, the the National Security Council, the National Defense Council, National Police Council. In the last 12 months, and of course 8 years before that, I've not seen those councils sitting down like they should. There is a reason why they're there in the Constitution. They are meant to serve a purpose. So when they don't sit and when they don't follow up on some of these issues, we have the challenges that we have at the moment.